Welcome to Property Deconstructed with Mark Iricallo from Master Advocates. Now, Mark, when it comes to property, purchasing an investment property or residential property, it's always good to hear from the experts, and you are one of those, but you also use a team of people to make sure you make the right choice, and that's what we're here to discuss in this series called Property Deconstructed, and you have a special guest for us, Mark Iricallo.
We do. Thanks, Pat. Thanks for having us in your beautiful studio here as well.
My pleasure.
Yes, yeah. Tell your story of media, Pat.
Thank you.
A legendary radio media presenter, so known a long time. But our great guest here, Andrew Hicks from IRS International.
Yes.
So he's a national manager of plumbing and electrical. And yes, from a buyer's advocacy perspective, I always recommend to our clients to have IRS, or if they don't use IRS, if they're in another state, they can find them. But getting a plumbing and electrical inspection report before they purchase property to occupy, or more importantly, invest in as well.
Yes.
But Andrew, thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and it's so important, the plumbing. We've spoken about electrical, which is the sort of the wiring of the home, of course, or the veins of the home. But imagine getting the plumbing wrong, Mark. You walk in and it's not working. It would be disastrous.
One of our biggest issues that we find, and Andrew, you can explain in more detail, is that over my 22 plus years in real estate, most of the time major structural issues could have started, or most of the time start from a plumbing cause that was undetected and could have been dealt with earlier on, less expensive, and other risks as well. And that going back to the residential tenancy standards, I've mentioned it a lot of times. Yeah. The reforms have changed. There's a lot of minimum standards in Victoria that need to be covered. Yeah. Plumbing. Keep
mentioning, because that sounds vital. If you're missing out, it's coming. Yeah. These changes are coming. You've got to be ready.
They're in place, but they're being enforced as of next year, 2023. So and around plumbing and gas services and appliances, but. Yeah, Andrew, you can elaborate a bit more about IRS and how you manage these pre-inspections and post-maintenance.
Yeah, what I find is the things that you can't see in plumbing is what's causing big issues out there. With your sewer, you have dislodgements, which cause blockages and all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. We just had a customer brought a house in Williamstown, got a building inspection, but could only see what they could see. Right. Moved into it. The builder's given the report, so then they've worked out a budget. This is how much they renovated their bathroom and stuff like that. 3 months into it, got a blockage. We come out and cleared it, took a video and found out the whole sewer line had collapsed.
Right.
So the customer then comes to me and said, look, we're out of our budget. We've spent all our money doing what we thought. We didn't know this was happening when we purchased a house in Williamstown. So, we find
that's
that a
horror
lot.
story.
Yeah,
that is a horror story. Because you've got the inspection, you think you've done everything right.
Yeah,
but you've got to worry about plumbing and electrical, not just the building inspection.
It may not be immediately obvious the actual outcome, or sometimes they may have been just treating it with a temporary unblocking, and something can be a lot more devastating later on.
Yeah, well, the people that sold the house were out for 3 months, and then the people that bought the house started renovating it. So they were out 6 months. So it was 9 months before they worked out that they had a collapsed sewer.
I think of it like, we might get the building inspector that can highlight some obvious parts, and sometimes even tell us get a plumber in or electrician. Yeah. But you've got like a GP analogy there that they're giving you an overall health check.
Then you go to a specialist.
And then the plumbing and electrical side's like getting an MRI or a CAT scan, in the sense of looking deep into the actual property.
And this process is vital for you, isn't it, Mark, as an advocate for buyers and sellers, to make sure you get the full health check, then you sort of dig a bit deeper, get the plumbing inspectors in, and if your sewer has collapsed, as you say, I mean, it's something you can't see.
Shit situation.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's right.
That's in joke, the plumber jokes.
Yeah, we've got plenty of them jokes out there.
What about the gas leaks and things? That's quite dangerous. Talk about that,
That's quite serious after people died in Shepparton. What you're finding now, a lot of ducted heaters and internal units, heating units with gas, had cracked heat exchangers, which causes the gas to go inside, which will kill you. Yeah, right. But the problem is you can't smell it. And basically it would put you to sleep and then you just die, unfortunately.
Is that the carbon monoxide tests that you do?
Yeah. So we do find probably 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 in older houses that now, 25, 30-year-old units have So we've disconnected a lot, and we've put a lot of split systems in place because if you're renting out a property, it's safer to go because you're not having it with the gas, and you got to now get a yearly check.
Right. So you're better off just changing it all altogether.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes that's worth doing, just putting a split system in if you're buying an investment property.
Yep.
Because you don't have to do the gas check on that, and you know that no one's going to die from.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and that's huge. More importantly, protecting lives, and then at least if you're an investor, you can budget and foresee some of the issues by getting these checks done, and not sort of get bill shock when you're forced to do something. It's not a choice after. You have to maintain the property.
Yeah.
So you can't plead ignorant, and you can't say, well, I haven't got budget for that. You need to, it's an investment. It's like a business.
Yeah.
And you've got a duty of care. So at least we go in prepared, a little bit less stress. We put it forward, and then the clients need to understand their risk, their own risk assessment if they want to move forward.
Yep. Well said. It's about the bill shock. It doesn't mean you can't purchase the property, but at least you know what you're dealing with, and you'll map out a plan moving forward.
Yeah.
Mark, we can say, okay, we've got this problem, but we can do it over the next few years. It sounds like it's stuff you need to address straight away.
Yeah, we'll get advice from the professionals, but after dealing with thousands of properties over the years and helping people manage rental investment properties, we get an idea of how to quantify. But they'll even at IRS, part of the service with the reporting, it's quite detailed, photographs, written report, just like your normal building inspection reports, and they'll include a quote estimate as well. That it's an option.
Right, nice.
And then do all the emergency. You can talk a bit more about what IRS do, and I guess the standards of regulators and changes in this industry as well.
Yeah, so the gas regulations have changed. They're going to police that by March next year, 2023. So basically, they've got us to now. You got up to March next year to change your ways,
Right?
And then you got to follow the new regulations.
Okay, and that's and then the regulator, if someone isn't dealing with IRS, I guess, and having issues or concerns, regulators for plumbing and electrical, who would they go to?
You'd go to the VBA. And you report whatever issues you have.
Yeah, that's the
main
Victorian
thing,
Building Authority.
yeah, and the main thing is like when you're getting a company in, you want to make sure that there's a few cowboys out in the industry, and they're trying to stop that at the moment.
Yep.
But there's a lot of unlicensed trades out there
Right.
that take advantage of people.
Yes.
And break the laws and not following the regulations because they're not licensed, so they don't see what's coming up in the future.
Right.
So you might have
They're not being trained to update their knowledge.
No. So if you're a licensed person like I am, you'll get some email once a month from the VBA telling you what's coming up in the future, what laws are changing, and a lot of these people don't know.
You're forced to
So
stay
what
up
do
to
you
date.
ask for? Like as a punter, do you just ask for the license? What's the question you need to ask
Yeah,
a tradie?
it should be.
Well, you should. When
Just
you get
ask, "Can you
any
show me your
person
licence?"
come in, are you a licensed person?
Right.
You can go to the website and actually type in their name and see if they're licensed.
if they're licensed plumber, and then asking, electrical side is Energy Safe Victoria. Is that right? They're the regulator for electricians
Correct.
in Victoria.
Correct.
Yeah.
And any works over $700, you need to get a certificate.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there will go and get something installed, don't get a certificate, and
That's
then
the safety compliance certificate. is
yeah,
it?
yeah. And also, what happens is they might come and install a new heater or something like that, and then something goes wrong with the heater. The manufacturer asks for the
Certificate.
license, the certificate.
Right.
If you haven't, you void the warranty
And proof of purchase. Yeah.
and it can be
Right,
very costly.
Right. Warranty, insurance, I guess as well. So that with that too.
Well, you can
fact that you have-
depreciate it on your tax too, so let your insurance know and that it's covered. There's other areas, but get your
Yeah,
accounting
yeah.
advice. But
Yeah.
new items people just think about depreciating on brand new homes. If you've refurbished and added value to an older home, then those items you should be able to use them against your investment
Yep.
expenses as well.
And you're following the right process, and you've done it all correctly.
Yeah, a lot of customers don't know that, and they call us up and say, "Oh, my ducted heater's not working." And I said, "Well, how old is it?" Or 12 months. I said, "I'll just ring up, wherever you bought it, Brovis or Braemar or whoever." And they said, "Oh, we can't because we never got a certificate, so they won't cover it under warranty." And they've goes, "Well, we've spent $5,000 getting this system put in." You know, so because
But that would be
they've
the
got those
process with you. So you at IRS, you'd put it in, and then the certificate will come a few days later or whatever. That's
correct.
Like the way,
Yeah,
right.
we'll give a certificate, electrical and plumbing gas
Yep.
certificate.
Sounds like you've got to do that, Mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No. It's property managers should be doing that as well, and you know, making sure they're collecting documents, not just passing on the work and paying bills. Yeah, keeping archives of the work that's completed.
Getting organised.
Yeah.
You know, because when something goes wrong, they come to you, and you've got the file, and it's all there, and it's an easy fix.
Meat in the sandwich.
Yeah, nice. Yep. All right. Andrew, other sort of horror, or things that people need to look out for. We spoke about, the gas, the sewerage. What other things sort of pop up that sometimes you come across?
Yeah, a lot of stormwater. Same thing, dislodgements. Rain will come in. Next thing you know, like, hasn't rained for 3 months. And we've, like, the last 6 months in Melbourne's been incredible, world record rains in
everywhere.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
So people ringing up with roof leaks, and because of the downpipes, they're blocked, or the dislodgement, the water's going back up the downpipes into the roof space and then causing roof leaks. They all think that straight away it's the roof's leaking, but it can be caused from the stormwater. Not just
stormwater, which is all blocked, and as you say,
comes
it's going back up.
goes back up onto the gutters, and then the gutters can only hold so much, and then it goes into the roof space.
Yeah, and so look at actually blockages. It just brought to mind that, yes, it's quite strict, especially in Victoria, about due diligence for owners and things that we get them to do before they buy, or landlords or property rental providers, the maintenance of a home. But their services, sometimes we've relied upon, plumbers, electricians, building inspectors, to even keep all parties accountable, including renters, with their duties and obligations. Because sometimes a blockage could be caused by the occupant, and the owner's gone and sent out someone there, paid hundreds to thousands of dollars to do a repair, but there could have been a toy lodged, or I guess a big
Tennis
thing
ball.
is tennis balls, or sanitary
Correct.
products, things like that.
Nappies.
You've got to ask questions.
Nappies, right? Okay.
Yeah, and
so
nappies,
so you got to work out what the cause was,
Based
and then
on
everybody we know.
experience and idea, and we still rely on the professionals to say, in your opinion and experience, what could be the cause, and if it's the party, the owner's
Right.
maintenance, then
The
you take
person
care of your
responsible.
obligations.
Yeah. Keep those tennis balls away from the.
Yeah, so
from the
we'll
pipes.
just don't just come there and clean it. We also camera it, so we can send and take a video of the whole sewer line or the whole stormwater line.
We're using those cameras here in the studio that they used it for IRS.
You clean them, did you?
That's exactly right.
Right, so a little camera just gets in
Goes
there.
down there and it goes
nice.
up to 30, 40 metres. And
Yeah, nice.
yeah,
Okay.
you can see some weird things sometimes. Like we've seen cats and rats up there sometimes, and you look feeding the camera down, and all of a sudden you see this thing looking at you.
A live cat.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
gotta
we
get down there.
had a kitten or a cat one day up the sewer pipe. Yeah.
right.
So we should have started with the interesting stories.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you're going to have to save the cat then? You'd have to get in there and somehow.
Yeah, well,
know,
most
like
of the time they know
Superman?
how to get out because they just
They know
go
what
up
they're
to
doing.
the main sewer line. But yeah, we've seen some weird stuff.
Yeah. And that's the technology. We've had other guests talk about this.
Yeah.
Is the technology exists now for you to get in there and identify all the problems that you can
because
just use it.
years ago you'd just be guessing. Before the cameras, we just guess what's
jet
wrong
the
with it.
whole-
Yeah,
You just unblock it, and then just think. But now you can see how many breaks there is, what's causing the breaks. Another big issue is, we'll find trees. Oh, trees are breaking sewers, but in this property that we're doing, they don't have any trees. It's coming from the neighbour's side.
Right.
We get a lot of that too, which causes friction between the two.
right.
Yeah, it's all evidence, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
well, that's right.
there's no guessing. It's facts. Then you can say, I'm not having a go. This
Yeah.
is
That's
this
right.
is the fact.
Yeah, you've got the
you've got
tree
it
next door
officially.
is causing your breakage in your sewer, and does cause a bit of angst between the two parties sometimes.
But such a good point. It's a fact then, because the olden days you'd say it. No, it wasn't me, and whatever.
Yeah.
There's an official sort of document that says that's what it is, and you just deal with it.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, and I think before we wrap up, your point about it can be avoided if you get in early. You can't see it. Isn't that a tragedy? If you let it go, it's going to cost you a ton of money. If you get in early, at least you're on the front foot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, be proactive rather than reactive, and not have time.
Yeah, and as that lady said to me, the client from Williamstown, she said, if I knew that sewers collapsed, I wouldn't have spent so much money in the inside. I got the sewer, which is the most
she
important
could
thing.
have planned.
Put 5K
Because you
aside
can't,
or-
you can't use your shower or toilet because the sewer's not working.
Yeah, that's right.
And she would have,
Priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was expensive it was expensive. It was about $11,000 job.
Tough education.
Yeah.
Cost.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, thanks for your time. Another great guest. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mark,
thanks,
for
mate.
inviting Andrew
Thanks,
in.
Andrew.
Thank you for having me.
IRS International. Andrew Hicks is the National Manager of Plumbing. Have I got that right? The National...
Yep, that's correct.
That'll do it?
We're all over Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we can find you online.
Yes, you can. Just for a call away.
No worries. Andrew Hicks from IRS International.